Hello everyone, welcome to Bare Minimum Initiative. Today we are going to discuss about Freebie. Recently, Freebie has become a hot topic in the media. This recent controversy can be traced back to the RBI report in July, in which it stated that it is worried about the financial conditions of the state because the state governments are indulging in freebie schemes. And after that, Prime Minister has criticized the freebie culture, that it is affecting the long-term development of the nation, and termed it as the Revadi culture. Soon after that, a PIL has been filed in the Supreme Court stating that the freebie schemes announced by the political parties in their election manifesto violates the free and electoral process. So, let's discuss deeply about the issue of freebies. A freebie is generally stated as subsidized consumption, that is, a government giving goods or services to the citizen for free of cost or at a subsidized price, mainly to win the popular support. Some of the most commonly known freebies are midday meal scheme, free rations, bicycles to the students, color TVs, and farm loan waiver. A section of economists and administrators are worried about freebie. Their main criticism is economic distortions created by the freebie. The classical example is the case of Punjab. In late 90s and early 2000, the Punjab government has heavily subsidized the electricity to the farmers. This leads to heavy spending on agricultural sector, leaving little fiscal space to spend in other sectors of the economy like manufacturing and services. So, there has been a major relocation of manufacturing sectors from traditional centers like Gurdaspur, Ludhiana and Jalandhar, and this results in stagnation of economy in the near future. And the second most important issue is there is irrationality in choosing a particular freebie measure over another schemes. Most times politicians are not sure why they choose a particular freebie measure over other schemes to improve the overall living conditions of the people. And the third important criticism is that freebie is a threat to democratic values, and on electing to power, political parties issue freebies using the public fund, and most political commentators term the freebie as a bribery or kickback by the political parties to the citizen for purchasing their votes, and this influences the level playing field of other political parties. This eventually violates the free and electoral process. RBI took criticized the freebie from the point of fiscal discipline and stated that it has become a hindrance in achieving the goals of FRBM Act. RBI stated that freebie is affecting the overall credit culture of the economy, and cross-subsidization through freebies may lead to a decline in the private investment and disincentivize work at the current wage rate, thereby decreasing the labor force participation rate. And the next criticism is freebie is often seen as a short-term measure to canvass the voters, to get the voters to vote for a particular party. But the policies and schemes of the government should be focused on a long-term impact and long-term outcome rather than a short-term results. Still, most of the politicians and economists are supportive of the freebie. They maintain that it's state's duty to ensure basic social minimum to every citizen. This is proved true during the recent pandemic, where most of the citizens are dependent on the state even for their bare minimum sustenance. The concept of basic social minimum is even enshrined in our constitution indirectly in the directive principles of state's policies, in which the state is supposed to distribute the resources among the citizens to subserve the common good. A section of economists consider freebie as an unproductive expenditure, and they state productive expenditure as something which creates employment or jobs in the services and manufacturing industries. But the jobs created from services and manufacturing industries are mostly accessed by the relatively privileged people who have access to education and skilling opportunities. But the chunk of freebie goes to those people who don't have any access to these jobs created because of their socio-economic position. Now let's see if freebie can adequately be justified. Most economists and politicians who are supportive of the freebie condemn the usage of word freebie and prefer the word social welfare scheme. Recently, the Oxfam report stated that India has become a very unequal country in which top 10% of the people owns 57% of the national wealth, and the social welfare scheme can be used to redistribute the resources from the rich to poor and thereby bridging the gap. Even richer countries uses freebie measures to address the inequalities. Even US has spent around 70% of its expenditures on subsidies and transfer payments, whereas in India it's only 44%. And economists support freebies on the basis of their usefulness and differentiate it as merit goods and non-merit goods. They define merit goods as one which have positive externalities, spending on which will have more public benefit than private benefit. But the most important question is, who gets to decide what are merit goods and what are not? Some people may consider subsidized air travel as merit goods while giving free color TVs and laptops as non-merit goods. In most cases, politicians who have ground experience know grassroots realities better than economists, and they may choose the correct measures to improve the overall living conditions of the people. Even Supreme Court in 2013 in Subramaniam Balaji case has stated that the concept of livelihood and standard of living condition can be varied temporally and spatially. That is, what was considered to be a luxury once can become a necessity good now. Example, phone and laptop was considered as a luxury items few years back, but after the pandemic it has become a necessity good for online education to the students. Also, free internet connection can be considered as a luxury good in an underdeveloped state where there are no proper roads and electricity. But in a developed state, this may be considered as a necessary good for the next stage of development. So, the court has ruled that distribution of TVs and laptops is well within the conformity of directive principles of state policy. Also, many politicians consider judicial interference in this issue as unconstitutional because there is no legislative vacuum regarding the issue of freebie, as the Representation of People Act clearly enlists what are the correct practices of the political parties, and freebie is not one among them, and judicial interference in such case may be considered as judicial overreach. Also, our constitution guarantees popular sovereignty. That is, in a democracy, voters' wisdom should be respected by the institutions. There can be a common ground to the present situation. Subbarao, former RBI governor, has suggested to set a cap for freebie spending by a particular state government. Also, ECI in the year 2014 has added a new chapter in its moral code of conduct to censure a political party if it does not provide a rationale for a particular scheme in its manifesto or fail to explain the resource mobilization for a particular scheme. That's all about for today. Let's meet with new topic in the next video. Thank you.